Dear students, welcome to the course Science of Consciousness in Ancient India, and we are going to discuss lecture 33. So, as in my previous lecture, I have just completed the basic understandings and few of the factual informations which are important for a scholar to know, and now I am going to summarize all those things which I have told, especially with reference of Kashmir Shaiv Darshan, that is Shaivism. So, the first point which is mentioned here, this darshan is aesthetically designed, means it allows us to enjoy the aesthetics of the world and it is read like a poetry. I told you the first sutra of Pratyabhigya Hridayam, that is Chiti Swatantra Vishwa Siddhi Hetu Svekshaya Sobhutto Vishwam Unmilyati. It reads like a poetry, and that's why we are able to memorize all the concepts, all the basic fundamental structures, or you can say whatever they are being taught, whatever concepts are available or thought or theory is available in the Shastra very easily, because it can be read like a poetry, it can be sung. कोई भी चीज़ अगर आसानी से याद हो सकती है तो वो गीत का फॉर्म ले लेती है. So automatically this darshan is aesthetically designed. Aesthetically designed means it has a kind of aesthetic value. It is having saundarya. Aesthetics literally, or in Sanskrit we have that saundarya shastra. Saundarya is in what sense? Suppose we are seeing a valley, a kind of a big valley, but it is surrounded by the mountains, and in all the directions there is a perfect greenery, and in the middle, in the center, there is a proper transparent clean water. So, you see the scene and then you can enjoy the beauty of that state or beauty of that structure. That is something which is understood as Saundarya Shastra. Not everything which is very beautified or which is having an aesthetic sense or aesthetic beauty is very simple. No. Rather we find the just opposite notion. Whatever is very beautiful, that is very complicated also, that is very dangerous also. So, sometimes you need to understand that beauty is not in a single constituent. Beauty lies when you see the any kind of a structure in a composite state. अगर आप माउंटेन सेपरेट कर दें, देन रिवर सेपरेट कर दें, देन वैली सेपरेट कर दें, तो आप अलग अलग कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट को उतना सुंदर नहीं पाएंगे. बट व्हेन यू पुट देम टुगेदर, they in a composite state, they would give you a pleasant aesthetic sense. So, that means aesthetic beauty lies always in holistic understanding of anything, because this darshan is giving us a holistic understanding about the cosmos, starting from the topmost to the bottommost. That means from the subtlest possible aspect to the grossest possible aspect, and that holisticness which is available in this darshan is responsible for providing a kind of aesthetic sense or aesthetic value to the literature of Kashmir Shaiv Darshan. That is why the first point is saying that this darshan is aesthetically designed, and it allows us to enjoy the beauty of the world also, because it does not declare the world as unreal. कभी नहीं कहा, जैसे for example I told you in the Vedanta, in the lecture when I was explaining the Vedanta darshan, I told you that this line which was very popular in a general notion, Brahma Satyam Jagad Mithya, became a disastrous statement later on. बहुत सारे लोगों ने इसी statement की वजह से उसमें अपना faith हटा लिया, क्योंकि जैसे ही आप ये डिक्लेयर करेंगे कि everything is just pure consciousness and whatever you are seeing right now, that is just an illusion, 99% people who have not mastered their own consciousness, the highest possible level of one's own existence, they won't be able to comprehend the meaning of the correct meaning of that particular statement. So, in that sense, a sense of flying from the responsibilities, flying away from the responsibilities, that is a sense of we have the three possible reactionary responses like fright, flight or fight. So, you are not frightened, you are not able to fight, so you would be flying away. So that means you are just going away from the responsibilities and just leaving behind all the responsibilities and going in search of the ultimate truth would create a kind of chaos in the societal structures later on. And that's why there was a necessity at that time that one kind of understanding should be popular among the mass, which can actually provide us a kind of balanced state. आप साथ साथ दोनों काम कर सकते हैं. On one hand, you have to complete all the responsibilities which are being a part of your existence. So, in spite of flying away from the responsibilities and going to in the search of ultimate existence, you can make both the things together at the same moment. So, you have to live in a balanced state of bhog and moksha. So, you do your responsibilities, but don't make yourself attached with the fruits of the actions, and then you can lead a kind of detached life living in a grihastha ashram also. And that is what is being said in all the shastras by the rishis, because I told you from the beginning that there is no rishi who is not married, who is not possessing a family, who is not a grihastha, still that person is a rishi. That means the possessing the right or the highest possible knowledge is possible simultaneously when you are accomplishing or discharging your duties. So, that is the first thing which is available through this darshan. The kind of structures in which we are right now present, or we are performing our duties, we are performing our actions, that is also a real thing. That is also not an illusion. We should not be thinking like we should leave these things behind and then we have to take salvation to somewhere else, and just by giving up all the responsibilities we would be free from the actions. No, it's not possible. मोक्ष ऐसा नहीं है. मोक्ष तब मिलेगा जब आप बैलेंस करना जानते होंगे. So, वो जो बैलेंस्ड स्टेट है वो यहाँ पर बहुत आसानी से एड्रेस हो जाती है. दैट्स वाई दिस दर्शन इज़ फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल इट इज़ एस्थेटिकली डिजाइंड. सेकेंड, इट डज नॉट डिक्लेयर एनीथिंग अनरियल. सो इट इज़ giving us a scope of enjoying the things which are available right now also, and then it is read like a poetry. The literature is so melodious that it can be read like a poetry, it can be memorized for a longer period of time. The second point says it does not support or claim any manifested entity as unreal. I told you that because there is no declaration like anything which is right now visible to us with a limited range of the senses is unreal. So, automatically there would be no chaos in the society. It includes the 6 dimensions of the discourse. It is a kind of darshan. See, there are 6 dimensions of discourse in Indian understanding. सब एक साथ चलते हैं, कोई एक चीज़ अलग नहीं है किसी दूसरी चीज़ से. First is darshan, second is yog, third is dharma, fourth is kala, then fifth is tantra, and last is the pravritti mulak. Pravritti means you need to accomplish something. Pravritti, it engages you in accomplishing something. So, a kind of darshan which is able to provide you a vision to see the things in a right perspective. Yoga, to actually attain your own highest possible level of existence, that is of pure consciousness. Dharma, that means regularly what should be done. Right, dharanat dharma, that means whatever you are taking up as your responsibility, as your moral obligation, that becomes dharma. Kala is a beautified structures, all the 64 allied sciences like nritya, geet, vadya. So, these are the 64 allied sciences, or more than 64 allied sciences. They all are the part of kala structure. Tantra, it's systematic presentation of the knowledge, that is tantra. Pravritti mulak engages us in accomplishing a lot of the things, that is pravritti mulak. So, basically it is having all the 6 dimensions together within that, because it is based on the bigger corpus of the Agama Shastra. So, from the Nigama Shastra we have Vedas, and from Vedas we have Upanishads, and from the Upanishads we have Vedanta Darshan. In the same way, from Agama Shastra we have Kashmir Shaiva Darshan, and this Kashmir Shaiva Darshan is also having the 4 branches, Pratyabhigya, Kul, Kram, Spand. So, in this way this darshan is having a kind of broader aspects of understanding which are the part of our own existence. They are supposed to be needed and absorbed and discussed in whole of the life. क्योंकि पूरी लाइफ में केवल एक मैकेनिकल ट्रेनिंग ही एक इंसान नहीं तैयार करती। मनुष्य का निर्माण क्या है, कब होगा, जब आपका एक होलिस्टिक डेवलपमेंट किया जाए। एंड इन द होलिस्टिक अंडरस्टैंडिंग और इन अ काइंड ऑफ होलिस्टिक डेवलपमेंट यू नीड टू टच ऑल द पॉसिबल एस्पेक्ट्स ऑफ डेवलपमेंट. By leaving one or the other side, you cannot create a perfect human resource, and that's why what which is fulfilled by this darshan. And then the fourth one, it demonstrates the para and apara state. Para vak, para shakti, para vidya, para bhakti, and similarly for apara also. So once in the beginning when I told you there are two possible types of knowledges, one is para and second is apara. It is said in the Upanishads, dve vidye veditavve paracha vayaput aparacha. So para is the empirical knowledge and apara is all the shastras. So the whole of the corpus of Agama Shastra is dealing with both the aspects, and I told you we have the triad, that is a Trika Shastra. This is also popularly known as a Trika Shastra. So we are having the middle one also, para aparacha. So in this way, four aspects of the of understanding, of knowledge, of experience, they all are available, like vak, speech. स्पीच के भी दोनों फॉर्म्स एड्रेस होते हैं. शक्ति के भी तीनों फॉर्म्स, परा, अपरा और परापरा, मिडिल वन ऑल्सो. सो शक्ति, एंड देन vidya, knowledge, and bhakti. So you say the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, which is very popular, and that is also discussed in the light of Kashmir Shaiva also. So in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, when there is a concept of Bhakti Yoga, so Bhakti Yoga is what? You can realize your highest possible level of consciousness or existence through bhakti, means unconditional surrender, and in that sense para bhakti is empirical. It's only experienced. It can only be experienced. It is experiential in nature. It can only be experienced. So para bhakti and apara bhakti. In the same way, para vidya, apara vidya, para shakti, apara shakti, and para vak and apara vak. And they again can be understood by classifying into subcategories of between also, that is para apara. So this is the way in this darshan we are having all the aspects together. ऐसा नहीं है कि कोई व्यक्ति आसन या प्राणायाम नहीं कर सकता तो वो योग कभी नहीं सिद्ध कर पाएगा. ये दर्शन इतना स्कोप छोड़ता है कि if you are realizing that the goal of your life was to realize your own original state of pure consciousness, and right now you have spent 80 years of your life, they are just you have just wasted the precious time of your life, but at the age of 80 you are realizing that you were supposed to do that at that time. अब आप ये सोचकर डिप्रेस हो जाएं कि अब तो मैं कुछ नहीं कर सकता क्योंकि मैं ऑलरेडी 80 साल बर्बाद कर चुका हूँ. तो ऐसा नहीं है. The moment you realize that the goal of your life was something else, was to realize your own real nature, that is the of pure consciousness or the highest possible level of existence, you can start the processes for the transformation. So that's why I told you that in Ada Upay we have a list of the methods. For example, jap, tap, vrat, dan, hom, yag. These are few of the methods. Apart from that also we have other listed methods through which whatever method is suitable to you, you can use that method for your spiritual transformation. For example, if you are not able to do the asanas or pranayam, then also you can go for the meditative practices which can make you concentrated at a single locus, because the target is to fix your dhyana. वहीं से ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन शुरू होना है. तो किसी भी मेथड से, ज़रूरी नहीं कि आप अपने शरीर को कष्ट पहुंचा करके ही योग सिद्ध कर सकेंगे, ऐसा बिल्कुल भी नहीं है. सो दिस दर्शन इज गिविंग अस अ ब्रॉडर कॉन्सेप्ट फॉर द स्पिरिचुअल ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन. यू जस्ट नीड दैट डिज़ायर टू अचीव योर ओरिजिनल एग्जिस्टेंस. That desire should be there. And the moment you realize that you need to do that, do or to achieve, you need to achieve that state, you can start the practices. So, that is something which is here available in the form of bhakti, vak, shakti, vidya, all the concepts which are laid down in detail and talked about them elaborately in the corpus of Agam Shastra. Then fifth, we are distracted from our own self. So, this is the state of vimukh. Right now we are vimukh, मतलब हम अपने से परे हैं, हम अपने से बाहर देखते रहते हैं, तो अपने आत्मन से, अपने आत्म तत्व से विमुख हो चुके हैं. दिस इज द लिटरल वर्जन विच इज यूज इन द शास्त्रास, लाइक आत्म तत्व से विमुख होना. वी आर डिस्ट्रैक्टेड फ्रॉम आवर ओन सेल्फ, विमुख हैं. And pratabhigya directs us towards our own self, that is abhimukh. So, we have to reverse this stage. Jo right now what we are vimukh from our own self, we have to just reverse the stage. Vimukh से हमें कहाँ जाना है, अभिमुख होना है. अभिमुख का मतलब हो जाएगा अपनी ओर मुड़ना है, अपनी ओर वापस मुड़ना है. So, the self यानी कि you have to focus on yourself. Realize your own consciousness. अभी आप कहाँ हैं, विमुख स्टेट में, distracted towards the cognition of external things and you are continuously engaged in the external like external achievements. अभी डिग्री मिल जाए, फिर नौकरी मिल जाए, फिर ये हो जाए, फिर वो हो जाए. So many distractions, so many targets which are not linked to your own self. आप बाहर ही बाहर अपनी ऊर्जाएं खर्च कर रहे हैं. So the target of the shastra is to involute you. That means you have to go inside, you have to become abhimukh. Vimukh है, आपको अभिमुख होना है. This is the actually target of pratabhigya. So, similarly, suppose you are being asked what is the purpose of yoga. So, I have already told in the Yoga Darshan, to realization of pure consciousness is the goal of the yoga, is the target of the yoga. In the same way, if you are being asked what is the target of the pratabhigya, then you can write like, to become abhimukh is the target of pratabhigya. To realize one's own self, that is the target of pratabhigya. The goal of pratabhigya, and the same thing is being described here in the next point. The goal of pratabhigya has been described as bhat bhasman roop anusandhanatmika pratabhigya. Bhat and bhasman, two words are there. One is bhat. This is very important word. Bha dhatu, this bhat word is having bha dhatu or bha root, which shows illumination. ठीक है, किसी चीज़ को प्रकाशित कर देना, चमका देना, चमकना, शाइनिंग पोटेंशियल, दैट इज भा. सो भात और भासमान. So, one thing which is getting illuminated, that is bhat, and bhasaman means the one who is illuminating it. So, roop anusandhanatmika means the form, the discovery or the investigation about the form. This is roop anusandhanatmika. Pratabhigya means recognition. Now, you put all the meanings together. This means the search of the form which was already available in the past, bhat matlab past tense, and which is also available in the present, that means bhasaman right now, is known as recognition. I told you, when you see your friend who was in the 4th standard, suddenly he is in front of you, you start matching the templates. So, this is something when your past experience and present knowledge comes at the single stratum or equilibrium state. That means on the same platform, both are present at the same platform. So, ये तब आप क्या करेंगे, template matching करेंगे. Template matching हो जाने के बाद you would exclaim like, oh fine, this is him only, ये वही है. So, you would recognize that person. The same thing is happening with your own self. Your highest possible level of Shiva is in front of you, and you experienced that stage some times ago in the past. You can say in a long past you were having the experience of being a Shiva. Now again the same form is in front of you, and both the things, the past experience and the present knowledge comes at the same equal platform. Then you exclaim that, oh Shivo aham, this is my form, I was the Shiva. This is the highest possible level of understanding, that is understood as recognition or pratabhigya. 7th, this darshan is dominated by the centrality of the pramata in its discourse. See, the cognizers or the pramatas are dominantly discussed here because there are 7 levels of the cognizers, and in all the rest of the darshanas we do not find this kind of 7 levels of upgradation of the single cognizer. So, it is a kind of a special character of Kashmir Shaiva Darshan. 8th, it is Upadisht, it's a kind of Hriday Samvad, dialogue style of understanding. See, Upadisht and Drisht, in the beginning itself I told you that there is a difference between the two words. One is Upadisht and second is Drisht. Drisht and Upadisht. Drisht means the one kind of corpus which is available to us through direct perception, that is Nigam Shastra. Upadisht means the one which is being taught by Shiva to the Parvati in a style of dialogue, like the dialogue is going between teacher and the student. So, it is Upadisht first of all, because whole of the Agam Shastra is Upadisht in nature. So, it is being taught by the teacher to the disciple. So, there is a style of dialogues are going between the student and the teacher. Somebody is asking a question and somebody is answering the questions. A dialogue is going on, continuous dialogue, but that dialogue is also a kind of Hriday Samvad. Hriday Samvad means it is internal dialogue. It is not dialogue present between the two people. It is an internal dialogue, because I told you, you consider again the same Ardhanarishwar form of Shiva. That means half portion is Shiva, half portion is Shakti, and both the things are inside of you. Sometimes within your I-ness, you consider the Shiva Tattva as your I-ness, and from the I-ness, when the thisness or the Shakti starts evolving, then there is a dichotomy. One is becoming the teacher, one is becoming the student, and Shakti has so many questions, so many doubts, starts asking the questions, and then the Shiva starts answering the questions. So, dialogue is going inside. It is not like you are sitting in front of any external guru and who is listening to your questions and giving the answers to your questions. So, this stage is internalized stage. I-ness और thisness के बीच में बात चल रही है. That's why I told from the beginning I told you that a kind of monologue, a kind of self-talk is the original method of getting the knowledge from inside, because whole of the knowledge is always inside of us. The moment we switch to the self-talk, automatically we would start getting the answers from within. That is something which is the target or which is the method of knowledge attainment in the Upadisht Shastra. वो ज्ञान अंदर ही है और अंदर से ही बाहर प्रकट होता है, लेकिन उसके प्रकट होने का मार्ग क्या है? एक अंतः संवाद, इंटरनल डायलॉग, दैट इज समथिंग विच इज कॉल्ड हृदय संवाद. हृदय संवाद का मतलब ये है कि आप अपने अंतर मन से ही बातें कर रहे हैं और वहीं से प्रश्न पूछते हैं, वहीं से उत्तर मिलता है. दिस इज द वेरी यू कैन से very high cadre of speciality of the Kashmir Shaiva Darshan, because of the reference text coming from the Agam Shastra. Whole of the Agamas are based on the same kind of method of attaining the knowledge. 9th, this system is unique in nature because it has metaphysical values of the sound. No system has described the mantra structure at such a highest level of cadre. I told you, if you understand the process of transposition, you would understand which sound is responsible for giving us the access to the which level of tattvas, like gum is accessing which level of tattva. आप ये साउंड का अगर 1000 बार या 1008 बार या 108 बार रिसाइटेशन कर रहे हैं तो किस तत्व की ऊर्जा को एक्सेस करेंगे, ये बताने का काम केवल और केवल आगम शास्त्र और तंत्र शास्त्र में ही किया गया है. सो दिस दर्शन इज हैविंग द मेटाफिजिकल वैल्यूज ऑफ द साउंड्स विच इज नॉर्मली राइट नाउ ऑल्सो बियॉन्ड द नॉर्मल अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ द scholars of the sciences. They actually consider sounds as a physical entities. So, they try to measure out the phenomena at a physical level. No, they have a metaphysical value also. You do not understand that thing because you do not know the relationship between the tattva and the phonemic energy, and that is present in the Agama Shastra. 10th, the delimited knowledge is the greatest bondage, and expansion of the self is a liberation here. So, see the definition of the liberation. When I taught you the Yoga Darshan, I told you at the top, at the peak, there is a word which is known as Kaivalya, and I told you Kaivalya you can be equated with the liberation, but it is a kind of what? Kevali bhava eva kaivalyam. Residing in a perfect aloneness is known as kaivalya. Here, what is kaivalya? It's not like you are going to be liberated from the cycle of life and death forever. No. It's a kind of expansion of yourself. That means you are able to see that all the manifested entities available here are just the extension of my own consciousness. They are the part of my own consciousness. So, the movement, the way I feel pleasure, pain and so many bhavas, the same way they would be feeling, and this continuation of the same consciousness available in all the entities is the root cause of understanding, is the root cause of the liberation from the bondage. The moment you are able to see that everywhere only you are the one who is present, you are automatically expanded, you are automatically extended into everything. That is the expansion of the self. This is something which is desired here. This darshan declares that the only ultimate praman is the agam. Agam, because agam is the revealed knowledge that is being taught by the Shiva to the Parvati. That means a kind of antah-samvad, pure form of knowledge, which is in turn the pure consciousness or the paravidya, and it is empirical in nature. So, suppose there are two people, two students. One student is trying to get the answers in the examination hall, talking to oneself and able to get the correct answer because he has learned everything in the class properly. So, the power of concentration was very high at the time when he was listening to the lectures. So, once he is recollecting the same knowledge in the examination hall, he would be getting the correct answers from within, because he is talking with himself or oneself. But the second person who was not having a concentration, a very strong concentration at the time of the lecture in the class, so now he is trying to recollect the same knowledge, he is not getting the answers from within, क्योंकि अभी उसने कुछ स्टोर किया ही नहीं है, तो प्रमिति के रूप में कुछ स्टोर हुआ ही नहीं है. अगर उसने प्रमिति के फॉर्म में करेक्ट नॉलेज स्टोर की होती तो स्मृति में रिकलेक्ट हो जाती. So, the problem lies here on the scholar side. The listener becomes more important. The concentration power of a scholar, of an individual, decides the content what he or she gets at the time of recollection of the same knowledge. So, paravidya. This is in turn becoming, if you take the same example at the level of pure consciousness, that means at the level of Param Shiv, then automatically you would get the whole answers regarding the questions related with the whole of the cosmos, if you are able to be seated at the level of Param Shiva. Then you would be switching with inside of you, putting up the questions and getting the answers from within. You would be able to see all the whole of the possibilities of the creation in the manifested entities in the cosmos. Everything would be inside itself. And so, the calculations were exactly precise. You see the calculations available in Aryabhatiyam, in the books of the Bhaskaracharya, they are so precise that you right now when you are putting up the experimentation in the external world, then also you are getting the right actual correct measurement. So, कैसे possible था कि बाहर कोई इंस्ट्रूमेंट डेवलप किए बिना भी आप इतना एक्यूरेट प्रिसाइज मेजरमेंट अपने अंदर के मेथड से प्राप्त कर सकें? Because that level, that cadre of scholars were being prepared through that system of education which was present in the Bharat. 12. It says that yatra yatra manastushti manastatraiva dharayet, because nothing is devoid of consciousness. So, the last point is very important for the scholars. Right now, a lot of students who do not have interest in any field of engineering, still they are here pursuing the courses of the engineering. If you don't have the interest in that particular subject or discipline, why you are here? But the Shastras of Indian discourse are very precise about it. Yatra yatra manastushti, jahan jahan aapka man santusht ho jaye, tat manas tatraiva dharayate. You should concentrate, you should hold your manas at that point only. जहाँ जहाँ आपकी मन की संतुष्टि नहीं है, वहाँ अगर आप अपने आप को रखेंगे तो आपका मन वहाँ स्थिर कभी होगा नहीं, और जब आपकी मन की स्थिरता नहीं होगी तो आपका कंसंट्रेशन कभी स्ट्रांग नहीं हो सकता. You would never be able to focus or to reach to the state of dhyan, and if you are not able to reach to the state of dhyan, the state of vikalpa kshaya would not come to you. आप हमेशा कई सारे विकल्पों में डिस्ट्रैक्टेड रहेंगे एंड यू वुड ऑलवेज जस्ट डेसिपिएट योर एनर्जी और वेस्ट योर एनर्जी इन मल्टीपल डायमेंशंस. You won't be able to focus yourself at a single locus for the spiritual transformation or to realize the highest state of your own consciousness. That's why the target is ध्यान. धारणा, वही धारणा करना सीख लिया तो ध्यान आपका लग जाएगा. आपको धारण करना आना चाहिए. मन को धारण करने के लिए जहाँ जहाँ मन स्थिर होता चला जाए, मन की तुष्टि होती चली जाए, वहाँ वहाँ उसे स्थिर करते चले जाना चाहिए. इफ़ यू आर फीलिंग दैट योर मनस इज नॉट हैविंग द तुष्टि एट दिस पर्टिकुलर टाइम, एट दिस पर्टिकुलर कोऑर्डिनेट और इन दिस पर्टिकुlar discipline, you should leave that. You should move you should identify your natural inclination, that means the natural stability locus of your manas. Then easily you would be able to transform to the state of dhyan, and that would lead you to the realization of the highest possible level of your consciousness, that is Param Shiv. After this we can move to the last unit, that is unit 5, which is titled as Discourse about Existence in Different Darshanas. So, this unit is just a compilation, a brief revision of whatever we have already studied. So, one by one I would discuss each and every point. The first point is the system of darshan describes the existence. This is first point, and this should be very clear right now because I have already explained all the things. So, the darshan actually describes the existence. कैसे creation हुआ है, हम existence में कैसे हैं और क्यों हैं, दोनों purpose, दोनों questions solve हो जाते हैं. Right now in contemporary times, in the modern understandings, we have the answers of the processes, how it is happening, but we don't know the answer of the question why it is happening. जैसे किसी बीमारी के बारे में या किसी बायोकेमिस्ट्री के स्टूडेंट से या मेडिकल साइंसेस के स्टूडेंट से अगर कोई प्रोसेस पूछ लिया जाए तो वो बता देगा कि ये दवा कैसे जाती है, कैसे काम करती है, हाउ योर लिवर फंक्शंस, हाउ योर हार्ट फंक्शंस, दे वुड एक्सप्लेन इट वेरी नाइसली. बट अगर आप क्वेश्चन कर देंगे कि वाई इट इज़ हैपनिंग, दे आर आंसरलेस, दे डोंट हैव एनी क्लू टू आंसर द क्वेश्चन. अब मुझे क्या पता कि यह हृदय क्यों धड़कता है या ऐसा ये इसकी ऐसी प्रोसेस क्यों होती है. देयर इज़ नो आंसर फॉर द क्वेश्चन व्हाई इट इज़ हैपनिंग, बट इन आवर कॉर्पस वी हैव अ प्रॉपर आंसर फॉर एवरीथिंग. व्हाई इट इज़ हैपनिंग, हाउ इट इज़ हैपनिंग, व्हाट इज़ द टारगेट ऑफ आवर लाइफ, व्हाई वी आर हियर. हम यहाँ हैं ये तो हमें पता है, लेकिन हम यहाँ पे क्यों हैं इसका जवाब आज के विद्याओं में नहीं है, लेकिन भारत के कॉर्पस में इसका प्रॉपर आंसर है. द गोल ऑफ आवर लाइफ, व्हाई द गोल ऑफ आवर एग्जिस्टेंस, व्हाट इज द पर्पस ऑफ दैट, what is the purpose of our own existence. So, in the beginning itself when I was explaining your Indian knowledge systems, I told you that they are considered to be the most authentic and most important segments of the Indian education system, because they are the part of higher education, and they were made the part of higher education just because they are able to answer the three basic questions of an individual, of individuality, like who am I, from where have I come, and what is the goal of my life. So, this is the first thing. Second, the existence can be explained on the basis of the causation theory as postulated by the Nyaya system. It was elaborated by the Sankhya system in analyzing the existence of the effect in its cause, and then the Vedanta system represented the existence by the apparent modifications of the real one on the background of the ultimate. This has been already explained. Kashmir Shaiva Darshan explains the existence as an appearance of the ultimate, because I told you you need to remember the phenomena of boiling the water. So, there is an appearance on the surface of the water itself. So, the bubbles appear and disappear, appear and disappear. So, the theory of appearance dominates. In general, the existence can be classified into three categories. See, there are three possible categories. One is the materialistic existence, second is transcendental existence, and third is virtual existence. System of Nyaya Vaisheshik elaborately discusses the materialistic existence, because Nyaya Vaisheshik was the first, the bottommost line. वहाँ से शुरुआत हुई थी. You can consider right now whatever we are discussing or experimenting in our laboratories, that is up to the level of the Nyaya Vaisheshikas itself. The second system of Sankhya Yoga elaborately discusses the transcendental existence. They touch that there is some kind of Purush और प्योर कॉन्शियसनेस जो कि ट्रांसेंडेंटल है, जो मटेरियल प्रकृति से बने हुए किसी भी चीज़ में नहीं आती है, उसके बियॉन्ड भी कुछ है. सो दे वर लिटिल बिट अहेड. The system of Vedanta and Kashmir Shaiva Darshan explains all the three levels. That means materialistic, transcendental, then virtual. Virtual को भी address कर दिया Vedanta and Kashmir Shaiva Darshan ने. So now we can identify few differences between the Vedanta and Kashmir Shaiva Darshan. Kashmir Shaiva Darshan explains all the three levels as real. See, I have explained you, there is nothing which can be said as it's mithya. But Vedanta considers the world as a virtual existence and as it appears unreal after the realization of ultimate. So, this is a basic difference. Here no scholar declared that once you realize that Shivo Aham, you would be able to say like whatever till now you were doing or whatever till now was become a part of your perception, that is not real. नहीं, ऐसा किसी ने नहीं कहा, आगम में ये स्टैंड ही नहीं है. वेदांत के स्कॉलर्स ये इमीडिएटली फील कर लेते हैं कि द मोमेंट यू रियलाइज द अल्टीमेट स्टेट ऑफ योर कॉन्शियसनेस, यू वुड से लाइक राइट टिल नाउ वॉट एवर आई वॉज परसीविंग दैट वॉज एन इल्यूजन. So, immediately there is a concept of mithya. This is the difference between the level of experiences of the Vedanta and Kashmir Shaiva Darshan. Because Kashmir Shaiva Darshan explains the Shuddha Tattvas, 36 Tattvas, and Vedanta is up to the level of 25 Tattvas only. So, the Kashmir Shaiva Darshan is having that 11 more Tattvas, that transitional phase and then द शुद्ध तत्वास. सो जब ये भी रियलाइज हो जाएंगे तो आप ऐसा डिक्लेयर कभी करेंगे ही नहीं कि अभी जब जो कुछ देखा था वो सब इल्यूजन था. That is the first specification or difference. Second, Kashmir Shaiva Darshan says that the virtual existence is just the appearance, same as the transcendental existence, because appearance is always real. To explain elaborately, we can take the example of illusion and reflection. Illusion and reflection both are real, but one is incomplete knowledge and other is holding complete knowledge. So, if you are in illusion, that becomes a kind of incomplete knowledge, and if you are perceiving something in a reflection, that becomes a complete knowledge. That is a difference between the stands of Kashmir Shaiva Darshan and the Vedanta. Third, materialistic existence. It is never negotiated for realizing the ultimate one in Kashmir Shaiva Darshan. There is no scholar who declares that you should not use this materialistic world as an instrument for your spiritual transformation. It is of no use. ऐसा किसी ने declare नहीं किया. While Vedanta leaves an impression of creating unwillingness in materialistic existence for a common mass. That is these are the three basic points of differences between the Kashmir Shaiva Darshan and Vedanta Darshan. After this, we can move to the already explained theories. First is Asat Karyavad. This is a theory of existence, but it is given by the Nyaya Vaisheshik scholars. This is non-existence of the effect in the cause. Asat Karyavad. Split the word, you would get the meaning. Then Sat, then Karya, then Vad. Vad means theory, Karya means effect, and Asat means existence and A means negate it. So, there is no existence of what that is something as theory. अब यहाँ पे आएंगे, I will explain it. It maintains that Karya, that is effect, is asat or unreal until it comes into being. So, effect is unreal until it comes into being. Every effect is a new beginning and is not born out of the cause. ये है असत कार्यवाद. Means the scholars are considering that karya is a new concept. It is not already available in its cause. This is the asat karyavad theory of that where we consider that effect is a new thing, and this is given by or considered by Nyaya Vaisheshik scholars. The relationship between a cause like a clay or like clay and its effect like a pot has provided enough scope of the discussion in the Nyaya Vaisheshikas. When the pot, the effect, is produced from clay, its cause, one explanation is possible that the effect, which is something new, is produced because of the efforts of the potter and his implements, even though it did not exist earlier. If the clay and the pot were not different from each other, we should have used the same name for both. and they should have served the same purpose, but this is not so. So, this is the argument put by the Nyaya Vaisheshik scholars to accept or to prove their hypothesis of Asat Karyavad. They say that effect is a completely new thing, it is not already available in the cause, because they are and how they are proving this hypothesis, they are putting two logics. One is they are saying that effect, for example, they are giving like you take the clay and you are creating a pot from the clay. So, clay is the cause and pot is the effect, and pot was not present till the clay was there. Effect is a completely new thing. They are saying this logic, they are putting this logic to actually prove their hypothesis. Secondly, they are saying if the both were the same, then we would have used the same word for the both of them, that is also not there. So, they are of the opinion that effect is a completely new thing that is not already available in its cause. Hence, according to this view, a real effect or a karya is produced from the cause, though it did not exist earlier, hence unreal or asat in that cause. Therefore, it is named as asat karyavad. Just opposite of asat karyavad, the next theory is of sat karyavad. This is given by the Nyaya Sankhya scholars. Sat karyavad is the theory of pre-existing effect, that the effect already exists in its material cause, and therefore, nothing new is brought into existence or produced in the process of creation. The scholars of Sankhya system hold that the effect is existent even before causal operation renders from the unmanifested condition. It gives 5 reasons. Now, they are saying just opposite of the Nyaya Vaisheshikas. They are saying that the effect was already present in the cause, now it is manifested, just manifestation. Why and how? So, for proving their hypothesis, they are giving this logic. First logic, say they are saying asad karanat, whatever is not in existence cannot be produced. First one, जिसका कभी अस्तित्व नहीं था उसको आप कभी तैयार ही नहीं कर सकते. पहला स्ट्रॉन्ग लॉजिक रखते हैं, वॉट एवर इज नॉट इन एग्जिस्टेंस कैन नॉट बी प्रोड्यूस्ड, नंबर 1. सेकेंड इज उपादान करणात, द इफेक्ट रिक्वायर्स अ मटीरियल कॉज. ऑलवेज there is when something is being created, there should be some kind of material cause, like for a pot there is a clay is the material cause. In the same way, if you are going to create a cloth, there should be thread. सर्व संभव अभावात, नॉट एवरीथिंग अराइजेज फ्रॉम एवरीथिंग. आप हर चीज से हर चीज नहीं बना सकते. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, यू कैन नॉट क्रिएट अ पॉट बाय द थ्रेड. सो मटीरियल कॉज भी लिंक्ड है. आपको पता है कि इसी चीज से ये चीज बनाई जा सकती है. आप ऐसा नहीं कर सकते कि सरसों के दाने से तेल की जगह पानी निकाल लेंगे, नहीं. सो नॉट एवरीथिंग कैन बी प्रोड्यूस फ्रॉम एवरीथिंग. सक्तस्य शक्य करणात, that is the cause produces only what corresponds to its potential. In the same way, if you say like the cause, the clay can produce another thing which is not in its potential, that is also not possible. There are limitations to the potential of each and every material cause. Then karan abhavat, karan bhavat, not abhavat, karan bhavat, the effect has the nature of the cause, and when something is being created, that inherits the property of the cause. For example, in the pot there is a property of the clay. For example, in the cloth there is a property of the thread. So, these are the 5 logics through which Sankhya scholars are refuting the Asat Karyavad of the Nyaya Vaisheshikas, and they are saying that no, effect is not a new thing, it is already available in its cause, and that is why we should accept the Sat Karyavad, the theory which says that karya is already in existence in its cause. After this, the third theory of the existence is of Vedanta, that is Vivartavad. The Sanskrit word Vivarta means alteration, modification, change of form, altered condition or a state. This is the literal meaning of the word Vivarta. Vivarta. Vivarta involves vikar or modification, but only apparent modification, see, of the real which does not change. Therefore, the world is Vivarta of the sole real entity, Brahman, and merely an illusion. See, Vivarta का मतलब हो गया मॉडिफिकेशन. देयर इज अ मॉडिफिकेशन, बट ऐसा भी नहीं कि पूरा ही मॉडिफाई हो जाए. That means the manifestation is coming into existence, that is this is a kind of modification or alteration of the Brahman. But you cannot say that Brahman is completely dissolved or annihilated just to give the rise to the manifested entities. No, it is a slight alteration. Just because of the coverings of avidya, it is a slight alteration. So, this theory was produced by the scholars of Vedanta Darshan. Vivartavad is a philosophical term that refers to the origin of the universe from the manifestation or appearance of the unique Brahman, or in other words, it refers to the material causehood of the Brahman. It denotes the Advaita theory of superimposition, adhyas, which is in concurrence with the statements of the Upanishads to the effect that when ignorance is ended by the right knowledge, the true nature of an object becomes known. I explained you the phenomena when I explained you the superposition principle in the Vedanta Darshan, that once you remove this screen of the projector, automatically the board which can be considered as Brahman would be visible. So, if you remove the coverings of the ignorance, automatically you would be realizing your Brahmanhood. In that sense, the illusory perception, the illusory world which is available right now to us, that is just a kind of alteration or modification of the pure Brahman. Last is Abhasvad, theory of appearance, which is the theory of Kashmir Shaiva Darshan. So, Abhasvad is the theory of Pratyabhijna system of Kashmir Shaiva Darshan, and it explains that the world is an appearance or abhas of the Shiva. That is why I told you, take the example of the water. When you are boiling it, there are so many bubbles appear on the surface of the water and then again dissolve in the surface in the same water. That means appearance and disappearance. This is the theory of Abhasvad. So, there is an abhas of being here right now in this particular coordinate of time and space. This is just an abhas. कई बार आपको क्या होता है कि आप यहाँ बैठे हैं लेकिन आपको आपके घर में कोई घटना हो गई, some tragedy happened in your home. So, you immediately get a kind of abhas that there is something bad happening to me or something bad has happened to me, because you find the same extension of your consciousness with your family relatives or in your family or the space where you were living till now. Before this, you are present here in this coordinate of time and space. So, because of the extension of same consciousness, you can easily get the appearance of the phenomena happening over there. This is abhas. इसीलिए कहते हैं कि मुझे आभास हुआ कि कुछ होने वाला है, कुछ बुरा हुआ है. This is a very kind of a normal experience of all of us. This is Abhasavad, theory of appearance. It recognizes the truth that appearance as appearance or the process of the world is real and it's not false, it's not an illusion. वो आभास सच होता है. कुछ देर के बाद आपको फ़ोन आएगा कि ऐसा ऐसा हुआ है, तो आपको कन्फर्म हो जाएगा कि मैंने जो आभास किया था वो सही था, वो कहीं ना कहीं घटित हुआ है. बिकॉज ऑफ द एक्सटेंशन ऑफ द सेम स्ट्रीम ऑफ कॉन्शियसनेस यू गेट दैट काइंड ऑफ आभासास ऑल द टाइम. The appearance is not the superposition. See, there is a difference. यहाँ appearance एक superposition की वजह से ignorance नहीं create कर रहा है. It's a real knowledge. So appearance is not the superposition of superimposition on Shiva, actively involved in free spontaneous activity of creation. It's like actively involved spontaneous activity of creation of consciousness, that is the power of consciousness. Because of the extension of the same stream of consciousness, the power of consciousness, that is Chiti, is able to get the flashes of the incidences happening over there. This is a normal spontaneous activity, that is our power. This theory tells that Prakriti or the primordial matter is just the projection of absolute freedom of ultimate. This is the actual understanding of Abhasvad, which is dealt in Kashmir Shaiva Darshan. So, in the end we can find few of the terms which are which can be related or paired to study broadly about differences, and you can identify the differences on the basis of all the lectures which I have taught till now. For example, Vikalp in the Yoga and Kashmir Shaiva Darshan, subtle body of Sankhya Vedanta and Kashmir Shaiva Darshan, Shiksha and Pratishakya text, Karmendri, Karma Ang, Jagrat and Swapnavastha, Chit and Purush, Chiti and Prakriti, Agam and Shabda, Agam Shastra and Nigam Shastra, gross body of the Sankhya and Vedanta, Panch Bhut and Panch Mahabhut, Jnanendriya and Jnana Ang, Chiti in Yoga and Kashmir Shavdarshan, Pratyaksh and Anuman Pramad, Pramiti and Smriti, Prakash and Vigmarsha form of Param Shiv, Samadhi and Shushupti, Chiti and Brahman, Madhyama and Vaikhari Vak, and Abhav and Anuplabdhi. There can be many more pairs like this, which are technically they are different. So because they are the technical word of each of the shastra, each of the branch, so there are slight differences between the concepts, though the word can be a shared vocabulary. On the basis of this understanding, we can have few questions. For example, from the lecture, from today's lecture, we can have few questions like Vivartavad, explain Vivartavad. Then you have to write the concept of modification or alteration, slight modification or alteration as per the Vedanta Darshan. Second, write down the differences between the Vedanta and Kashmiri Shavdarshan. I have already explained you the three basic differences between Vedanta and Kashmiri Shavdarshan. Write short notes on the following. For example, Abhasvad, Asat Karyavad, Sat Karyavad. Fourth, write down the differences between these pairs. Same, from the same table you can identify the differences like Panchabhut is non-intermixed, Panchamahabhut is intermixed, Agam and Shabda Pramad. In Agam, listener dominates, Shabda Pramad, the trustworthy person who utters the words dominates. Pramiti is stored knowledge, Smriti is recollected knowledge, and Prakash, Prakash is luminosity responsible for the existence, and Vimarsh is the thoughtful nature of the Param Shiv. In this way, you can identify the differences between the pairs. We can have few questions also, sample questions like the Sanskrit word Vivarta means modification, and if you are being asked, right, what is Vivarta as per Vedanta Darshan, that means slight alteration or modification. Then Kashmir Shavdarshan says that the virtual existence is just the appearance, same as the transcendental existence, because appearance is always real. Vivart involves alteration or modification, both are correct, alterations or modification, but only slight modification, that means not complete modification, little bit alteration. So, these are the few questions. We can discuss more, we can practice more questions from the slides itself. For this lecture, this was sufficient. Thank you.